This is a 9053 Volitation helicopter, and I previously made a video on some of the modifications that can improve the function of the helicopter, and I had a lot of questions, so I wanted to try to answer some of those. Again, the most important thing you can do is to increase the distance between the blades, and do that by removing the lower blade grip. Remove the blades, put it upside down, and put the blades on right side up. And it can be rather difficult to line the hole, so I found out that taking off one of the screws and aligning it with a pin and then placing the screw back in makes it quite a bit easier. The other important thing is that the helicopter to start with is rather tail heavy, so I took off some of the decorative bars and other parts in the back and added some weight in the front so it's not so tail heavy. And previously I mentioned that you can use a carbon fiber tube to keep the balance bar from bending down, and actually you can use the decorative bar instead of a carbon fiber tube, and you want to put just a bit of a space around this thing and then bend it up, and I use tape for securing it, and this keeps it from hitting the lower blades during a hard crash. In addition, I had mentioned that you could cut off the end of a blade to increase the size of the tail propeller, and with this one it actually increased the thrust by about 50%. And then I further cut another segment beyond this and hot glued it on, and this actually doubled the thrust from the tail motor. So these are things that you can do to really improve the functioning of the helicopter. And I also mentioned that if your tail motor burns out, Double Horse only sells the tail unit. They don't sell the little motor itself, but you can buy those. It's an NP20 motor, and if you do that, though, you're going to have to know how to remove the pinion gear and place it on. You have to do that by heating it, and I made another video explaining how to do that, and you're also going to have to solder the wires on it. And some of the replacement motors have a shorter shaft on them, and in order for the gear to engage, you're going to have to pull off the pin, take out this white gear, and cut off part of the bottom part of it and put it back on so it'll engage the gear. But that's actually not very difficult to do, and you can replace the pinion gear, solder it, and replace the motor in just a few minutes. But I did find that using a bigger tail blade, it produced quite a bit more thrust than even this one, and this size produces about twice the thrust as the original one. And it doesn't matter whether you use the A or B blade to get the parts for doing this. They both will work equally well. So I hope that this answers some of the questions that I've been having about some of these modifications.